Another major winter storm is expected to take shape across the country later this week, bringing with it serious impacts from a major snowstorm to parts of the country, as well as yet another significant severe weather outbreak that would be taking place yet again across South. We'll be covering all these details in today's forecast, everyone. Right, so to start off the video here, we do have to go over some storm outlooks. It does look like very active severe weather would be likely for southeast. We do have a slight risk that covers areas from our Arctic Texas region into the southern Tennessee area, as well as areas such as northern Mississippi and Alabama. We will also go over the hazards with all these days as well, but really we only have them for day 2, but I can also tell you some things that could happen on the other days as well. It does look like here we have a 5% tornado risk, slight risk for tornadoes, which means a few tornadoes can happen anywhere from the northeast corner of Texas through southern Arkansas and into northern Mississippi, maybe even extreme southwest Tennessee, including the Memphis area of Tennessee. Now, it does look like we could potentially see some significant hail of at least 2 inches in diameter in some places, especially from southern Arkansas into northwestern Mississippi, with a surrounding slight risk as well. We could see that higher chance we could see some large hail out of this as well. Meanwhile, we also do have our 15% damaging risk, which will be one of the primary hazards, along with the potentially few tornadoes that we could see across the region, as well as some large hail, even some that could be significant, at least 2 inches as well. And we have a big severe outbreak that could occur anywhere from eastern Texas into southeast Oklahoma and across southern half of Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and into a great amount of Mississippi there. So Cyrus also covers many of those areas, as well as areas such as the majority of Alabama, central northern Arkansas, southwest Tennessee, the western edges of Georgia and the Florida Panhandle, as well as the remainder of Louisiana that is within those risks as well. This is going to be something we're going to be looking at for all kinds of hazards here, even unfortunately the potential for strong tornadoes and destructive winds, especially given the possibility of a squall line forming, and even some soup cells ahead of that as well. There's also potential for a very large hail with some of this activity as well, especially in the soup cells that we could see in this region here. So there is some active weather going on across southwest here, as well as parts of the northern tier, with winter storm warnings and winter advisories in effect for northern New England, as well as some of those extending from Montana into UP of Michigan, as well as a great amount of the northern plains and up in the Midwest. Blizzard warnings in the Sierra ranges, as well as some red flag warnings here out in the southwest, including the Oklahoma, Texas panhandles, as well as areas of southeast Colorado and New Mexico. Meanwhile, we have some high elevation winter storm warnings in the southern Rockies as well. Well, we also have some winter weather advisories up here towards Nevada, some of the coastal regions in California and Oregon. Meanwhile, some of those winter storm warnings also extend all the way down to Southern California mountains. So other than that, we have not much else to say, but pretty active weather going on southwest, which will eventually lead to some very active weather across much of the remainder of the country as well in the coming days. So now we will break these storms down in detail as much as we can in today's forecast. So it looks like for now it's going to be calm, but that is about to change really soon here, with the first disturbance moving into the southwest tomorrow, and that will drop some heavy snow across southwest mountains as well as some rain in the valleys. And this will continue to move eastward during the day on Wednesday and night as well as Thursday morning before we see this new system here rapidly develop from the Southern Plains and then move its way into the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes regions, bringing a swath of heavy snow from Midwest into the Great Lakes, as well as parts of the Northeast, as well as some heavy rain and, again, significant weather outbreaks on the warm side of that across some great amount of Southeast, as well as maybe even as far north as Ohio Valley, where we could see some of that severe weather. Other than that, we do have an area of flash flooding concerns again from the Ohio Valley into parts of the Midwest. Again, a lot of this will be happening on Friday. And this system will continue to move to the northeast during the night on Friday and Saturday morning before ejecting out of the region into the Atlantic Ocean by Saturday at midday. So while it does look like this active pattern could keep up with a few more systems trying to move through the Midwest and Great Lakes during next week, other than that, it does look like we'll see this pattern eventually continue on in the West Coast with rounds of heavy precipitation moving through, maybe even a couple more systems coming through central and eastern parts of the country. Rather than that, not much else to say for the near term. Right, so we will also be looking at some of the preliminary snow totals from this storm as well. GFS is showing some of the heavier band moving through Missouri across northern Illinois and far northern parts of Indiana, as then moving through across the northeast region. Although that heavy swath where we could see a foot of snow would end up somewhere in southern lower Michigan into New York State and the northeast states with this upcoming storm here. Now, we also see an upcoming light snow event that could lead to several inches in North Dakota, with 3 to 5 inches generally elsewhere across Minnesota and northern Wisconsin, with North Dakota could see 6 to 8 inches or more than that, at least according to models here. But for now, we're going to be focusing mainly on this storm here. The Canadian model is starting that swath up in central northern Illinois, and then moving through the Midwest and Great Lakes, again with that heaviest swath coming through the Indiana, Ohio, Michigan tri-state area, and then moving through the Northeast states. Some of this could drop up to 2 feet of snow in the Northeast, which would be very heavy. Again, the National Weather Service blend is also bringing that soft snow. Actually, interestingly, starting from the Central Plains up down here, and then moving through Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, northern Michigan, and then also again across the Northeast. I'm sorry about that loopy-doop I keep making over here. I'm trying to make my mouse a bit more even spaced over here. So National versus Blend is interestingly also keeping some of that heavy snow, although in fact heavier end according to many of the models here. And that would lead to 8 to 10 inches, possibly in some places across southern eastern North Dakota. The UK model is starting that snow swath from eastern Illinois, and then situating itself across northwest Indiana, and then as well as lower Michigan and the northeast states. Again, this swath does have the potential to produce over a foot of snow in some of those spots, especially from the Great Lakes to the northeast. Maybe even parts of southern Canada could get some of that heavier snow as well. So according to National Weather Service, we could potentially see up to 4 inches of rain in an area from western Tennessee and northeast Arkansas, where the heaviest threat of flash flooding would exist. A widespread area of 2+ inches would be seen from eastern Oklahoma across a great amount of the Tennessee and Ohio valleys as well, in that red region there. Meanwhile, this wide swath of at least an inch could back up as far as central Oklahoma and northern Texas, and then spread its way across the Midwest, lower Great Lakes, and a lot of the Northeast. Although some of this on the more northern edges could be primarily the heavy snow, in some of those places snowfall totals could actually get over a foot, and that's why some of those totals are showing up there as well. Because this precipitation map does also take into account snowfall totals, especially what we're going to be looking at here. I'm going to say this is most likely the area we're going to be seeing snow with this storm as well. Anywhere from Missouri into portions of Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, Michigan, as well as the northeast states again. So therefore, the weather prediction center has been prompted to issue a excessive rainfall risk, actually a slight risk for flash flooding, coming from eastern Arkansas across the Tennessee Valley, including parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee, especially near the southern Tennessee border. Although the large risk can be expected across Arkansas, all the way up to parts of the eastern Ohio Valley, as far as West Virginia, a lot of Kentucky, and southern parts of Ohio. Now, for our day 3 outlook here, it does look like we also have actually a moderate risk. This one extends from northern half of Arkansas across western Tennessee, southeast Missouri, and western portions of Kentucky. Southern slurs also expands into eastern Oklahoma, northeast corner of Texas, northern fringes of Mississippi, middle Tennessee, and central Kentucky, as well as southern portions of Illinois and Indiana within the service there. The mergers also expands to include Oklahoma City and Dallas-Fort Worth metro areas, as well as Louisville, Cincinnati, Columbus, Indianapolis, and also some St. Louis areas as well. I do hope you found this information to be very useful. We will be giving you regular updates in the coming days with this system as well. And unfortunately, we might not be here at least Friday, but Thursday we will be here to give you coverage whenever that's necessary. I will probably be out Friday, so if there's any sincere weather going on, chances are I will unfortunately not be able to cover that. So, other than that being said, I hope you have a great night, everyone. Stay safe, and see you next time.